I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me.
Hey guys, my name is Quori-Tyler, aka QT, aka Books with QT, and in today's video, we are seeing how much I read in a week. I love these types of videos because I never understand how people who read like 200 books a year end up reading 200 books a year. So I love to see the details of how many pages they've read each day, how many books they're picking up within the week, and all of that stuff. So I'm gonna give you all the stats this week. We are starting on a Thursday. I get a lot of my reading done on the weekends usually, just because Monday through Friday I'm typically like working, running around, doing all that stuff. But I do try to read at least a little something every day. But I wanted to start it right now on Thursday because I just started a new book, A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This is our book club book of the month for May. If you've read it and you want to discuss it with us, join the free Discord book club in my description. But I am so excited about this. I'm only about 20 pages in. I started it last night, but we're gonna read more of that today and throughout the weekend. I actually have a wedding. I'm traveling this weekend and have a wedding, but I feel like I can get some good reading done on the plane, hopefully. So I'm just gonna take you along the journey, a realistic week in my life, and how much I'm able to read, even with having a busy schedule and doing a bunch of different things. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be so much fun. Let's get to reading.
Saw you paint a picture of a face that wasn't even close to mine. I know I shouldn't be in love.
You're a waterfall, I'm a fire. No surprise we don't go together, but it took us a while before we figured it out. What a shame. I'm not asking you for closure, I just want it to be over. We don't need to break up if we were never aligned. Is that okay? I shouldn't be yours if it
Okay, girlies, so it is now Monday, I believe. I was traveling this weekend, so I didn't really talk to you guys, but I recorded some clips. I didn't read at all on Saturday because that was the wedding. And then on the plane on Friday and Sunday, I did read. We'll go over a whole wrap up of how much I've read at the end of this. But I am 250 pages into Great Big Beautiful Life, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I want to say in a way similar to Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, not exactly, but our main character is a journalist telling a story from this older woman's perspective. The older woman hasn't been seen in years, her husband died, and Alice, our main character, and love interest Hayden are competing to become the journalist to tell the story ultimately. So they have to interview Margaret for over a month on like this island in Georgia. Is that sounding good for everyone? So we're getting the story told through Margaret's perspective of her upbringing and her family, and I think it's leading to figuring out why and how people in her family died, how her husband died, and all that stuff, because I think that's a mystery. And in real time, we're also seeing Alice and Hayden's love story. I think the criticism online is that there's not enough of Alice and Hayden's love story to make people feel like it's a true romance, but I'm really enjoying both parts that we're getting. It's definitely a slow burn, but I'm interested in the story of Margaret's life. I feel like the way she tells it is really intriguing and keeps me wondering more. We go all the way back to see like how her family got this money from like mining ores of silver or something, to them becoming like a news media company and a producing studio and all of this stuff. So I find that to be really interesting. It's very like old Hollywood glam kind of vibes. That's why it reminds me of the Evelyn Hugo kind of story. And I really enjoy Alice and Hayden together. I think they have a really good banter. I think it seems very natural for these two to be together. And yeah, I'm just enjoying the book so far. So yeah, 250 pages into a 400-page book, a little bit over halfway, so not much to say other than that, but I really like it. So far to me, better than Funny Story. I didn't love Funny Story last year. I liked it, didn't love it. This goes above Funny Story for me in the Emily Henry rankings of all her books that I've read. So I'm gonna finish this hopefully tonight. I'm literally just gonna binge it, and then we'll start another book tomorrow. I think we actually might go to Barnes & Noble tomorrow to pick up our new book. I'm so excited.
Time goes by, yeah, you and I are running out, running out. Time goes by, I change my mind about you and I.
Page 301.
You and
You
I.
guys, page
So would
353.
you
It all just clicked.
for a
I had a
minute?
feeling. I'm actually truly crying. This is getting
Let me
crazy.
catch my breath. Now I can feel what I'm saying. I'm letting you know this heart's on the edge. You make me be so much better. Promise to love you forever. That's why I wanna spend my life with you.
Oh my gosh. Everything is connecting. This book is so good. I don't understand how anyone has ever said that this book is good.
Nobody loves you like I do.
Things are getting intense. I have about 15 pages left, 15, 20 pages left. About 2 chapters.
That I can promise you, oh, promise you. Time goes by, oh, precious time. Wait, just 1 minute. Time goes by, I think I thought it out.
I find myself thinking that maybe every bit of heartbreak in life can be rearranged and used for something beautiful. That it doesn't really matter whether I chose this path or I was born onto it, so long as I stop and appreciate the path itself. The last sentence, that's so sweet. I finished Great Big Beautiful Life and I don't know what to say, you guys. This is up there. This is probably like top 3 Emily Henry books for me. Book lovers, happy place, this. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now. More thoughts coming later because it's 1:11 at night and I need to go to sleep. So I'll talk to you later. Okay guys, it is the next day. Like I showed you guys last night, I did start reading Lightlark, and loving it so far. I'm happy to be in a fantasy again, but today is the release of Kennedy Ryan's new book, Can't Get Enough. I am so excited about this. I love the Skyland series so much, and this is unfortunately the last book in the Skyland series, but I really want to start reading it today, so we're gonna head into Barnes & Noble and get the new book. My favorite delivery is a coffee bean blended matcha after a long day. Things couldn't get better if they freaking tried. Okay, I swear this is my comfort blanket. I have it on all the time. I am 60 pages into Lightlark, not much so far, but I will say, I talked about the fact that I don't typically love when there is a lot of trials, test fighting things that go on in fantasy books, and I will say this one starts out with it. So if that's something you're interested in, I think you'll really like this. I like the writing so far, but for some reason, when a fantasy book has so much like Hunger Games-esque fighting scenes, I get lost in the words. Like, I start to not understand what's going on when they're talking about how the sword slices the right inside of the thumb, and then she swings over this and through that to get, like, I get so lost and I can't keep up with like what actions are going on, and I truly don't care. I just want to know like who wins and who loses the battle. So I'm excited for the trials, this first part of the trials maybe to be over and us get some more depth with the characters. I think that's what we're getting to now, but I just wanted to say that before anything else. But I like the vibes. I'm happy to be back in a fantasy book. I do love a fantasy book. That's all I really have to say. I'm going to try to read at least another 50 pages. I want to get to at least page 100 before I like do anything else tonight. So, Light Lark, we love to see it. Okay, girlies, it's time to do a little wrap up of everything that we've read, how many pages we've done every day, and whatever else I want to talk about, I guess. I feel like this was a successful video. It was very realistic. There are times when I read, I think the most I read in a week is probably 3 books. I think because I was traveling this week, obviously, I didn't read as much as I would have, especially on the weekend, and that's when I was traveling. So, I don't know. I feel like it was just very realistic though, so hopefully you guys appreciate that. Let me know how many books you typically read in a week in the comments. First, I'm going to give my wrap up of the 2 books that we read this video, and then we will go through each day and I'll tell you exactly how much I read each day, totals, all of that stuff. So the first book we had in this video was Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, my queen. Like I told you guys, I absolutely adored this book. I think it gets a lot of flack online for some reason recently. I've seen mixed reviews. Some people absolutely love it, just like me, cried over it, the whole shebang. Some people are saying that like this is her worst book. They hated it was so boring. Reading is so personal, right? Like, everyone has a different opinion on everything, but I personally really liked this. I think Happy Place is probably my favorite book by M. Hen. Then it goes Book Lovers, and then Great Big Beautiful Life is going to be the third. I really enjoyed the duality we got in this book of hearing Margaret's story, which was kind of this like inaccessible story of fame and wealth that a lot of us probably have not experienced growing up in. It kind of made me feel like I could see one of the Kardashian kids growing up, becoming like 60, 70 years old, however old Margaret was in this book, and then doing some kind of tell-all and telling like the origin stories of like how their family got so wealthy. It was very Kennedy-esque, or I don't know, just like a high-profile family. So I don't know, I felt like her story was pretty interesting, which I know a lot of people are saying it was really boring, but that's just my opinion on how I felt. There was less romance than I think a lot of people expected there to be, but seeing what Emily Henry was saying about this book before it came out, she was letting us know from the jump that it's not going to be as much romance as a lot of romance readers probably want. But I felt like going into it thinking that there wasn't going to be romance basically at all, I was pleasantly surprised with how much romance there actually was. I think we got a nice cute story between Alice and Hayden, so I really can't complain about this book at all. I enjoyed it. I thought the plot twist at the end was really cool. Not even plot twist, but like just what's revealed at the end is really cool and I think is worth the read. Then the second book that we read was Light Lark by Alex Astor. This is my first Alex Astor book. She has been popping up everywhere. She also has a romance that recently came out. It's called like Summer in the City or something like that. I don't know. I didn't realize that the author of that was also the author of this, and she started as a fantasy writer. I truly enjoyed Light Lark. I thought this was such a good read. There was always something going on, very action packed in a way that like kept you entertained and you were able to follow the story. It's very beginner fantasy friendly. So if you haven't read a fantasy book and you want to get into the genre, I honestly feel like this is a really good start. The ending was crazy. It kept throwing me for a loop. I kept thinking I knew what was happening, and then I didn't know what was happening, but then I did know what was happening. It was like all over the place. But overall, I truly enjoyed it. I gave it a 4-star. Nothing too... It wasn't like A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I think it was a really good fantasy book. I love our main character, Isla, I think is how you say her name. I thought all of the supporting characters were really fun. There is a bit of a love triangle in there. I will say there was one person I was rooting for more in the love triangle throughout the whole book. Until the end, it kind of switched up for me. I don't want to give spoilers, but if you're curious about what I'm talking about, let me know and DM me on Instagram or something, and I'll let you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it switched up for me who I was rooting for within the love triangle. And I think it's an unpopular opinion. I'll leave you with that tea. But yeah, I feel like we read some really good books, and I'm happy about how much reading I got done this week. There has been some weeks this year where I just fall into such a slump I don't even finish half of a book within a week. Okay, now let's get to what you all came here for, the numbers. We started this video on a Thursday. On Thursday I read only 20 pages. Friday I read 80 pages while I was on the plane. Saturday was the day of the wedding I went to, so I read 0 pages. That was my shortest reading day. On Sunday on the plane, I read 60 pages. On Monday, I read 256 pages. That was my longest reading day. On Tuesday, I read 150 pages. Wednesday, went back down a little bit. I got super busy and didn't have a lot of time, then was tired at the night, so I only read 10 pages. And then on Thursday, I finished Light Lark and read 250 pages. So for the week, I totaled and read 821 pages, and I finished 2 books. I feel like that's a pretty successful week, if you ask me. I'm curious to know about how much you guys read, though, during the week. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.